Welcome, everybody. Are we rolling?
Mm-hmm.
We are rolling.
We are rolling.
We wanted to let our beautiful camera woman, Carla, enjoy. Yes, you can turn it around and show everyone beautiful Carla. Show everyone beautiful Carla.
I have no idea. I have no idea if my
show
face
beautiful
shows.
Carla with the glasses.
With the glasses?
With the glasses.
All right.
Flip.
There's
Here I am.
Carla with the glasses.
Flipping back around.
We wanted to give beautiful Carla a chance to enjoy the meditation. So we took her off duty and we all just did our little meditation. We're happy to join you. Happy you're with us.
And thank you for that opportunity.
You're very welcome. We were listening to some beautiful new yoga music I found. It's called Bless You, Bless You. It's called The Spirit of Yoga. It's by Ben Linbot. We want to thank Ben Linbot for the beautiful music that he gave us to meditate to tonight. So, Ben, we know you're out there in the universe somewhere. Thank you for your contribution. It's greatly appreciated. Shout out to Ben. We're high tech here. It's like now we're totally exposed, you know.
Right? Right? How do I turn this off?
Next week I'll be putting the symbols between my knees.
It'll be silent, but your thought accentuator will be telepathically beaming instructions.
I'll find a way to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't want to do that. No, iPhone, no. Oh, I didn't get it. Okay. All right. So, through my mirror, I see some new faces. I see Laura and Jody. And I see Amanda. And I see Janice. Welcome to class. Okay. So we're going to start as we always do with our review from our previous class. I always remind everyone who's watching for the first time, this is not a math class. You don't have to be here for the class before to get something out of the review. Just get something out of it. Last class was yet another class that deserves to be listened to several times. It was a really great one. It was a really funny one. I thought it was just a great class. So, how many classes aren't great when we get together, though? I mean, you know what I mean? It's like I get tired of saying it's a great class, but I feel like it needs to be said it's a great class. They're all great because we're together. Release resistance to the body of God. Release resistance to the mind of God. Release resistance to the wisdom of God. Release resistance to the knowing of God. Let it go. These are some things I asked you to say as we began our journey into conscious immortality. A journey that we have been on forever, a journey that we will never not be on forever. As always, we do not judge ourselves or others. We honor where we are, and then now we treat ourselves and others lovingly and compassionately. Focus points. Again, always, when I remember, I know I meant to want to thank Carla and Sarah for their time and effort that goes into coming up with these study guides every week, and they really put their heart into it, so thank you very much for doing that. Focus point number 1, it is time to walk through the door from mortality to immortality. It is time to birth the death of mortality. It is time to complete our journey through the birth canal. As we cross over into the consciousness of immortality, the rate of healing grows exponentially, without a doubt. The data that I collect in my little laboratory downstairs as I work on all my favorite little friends just continues to show that more and more and more. That as one embraces the space of immortality, the rate of healing expands exponentially. So even if you don't completely understand or can't wrap your head around what it means, like we talked about last time, just keep stepping into it. Just keep stepping into it. The sooner you embrace the immortality, the sooner you give permission for all your cellular memory to die out of your body. Now, this has come to be one of the funnier parts of the last show, as everyone, several people have told me how funny it was, and I walked right up into the camera and kind of had a moment of loathing and front of all of you all. Please. Please. So that was funny, though. I did enjoy that. And it really would be appreciated if you would. I never claim to think it's going to do any good, but I like to give my vote. Remember, healing for one of us is a healing for all of us. From this understanding, we share with each other an intention of healing and balance, of acceptance, compassion, and love. I love that saying. I love reading it every week. Reflection questions. Where in my life did I practice immortality or remind myself that I am immortal? And what feelings did it evoke, bring about? Anyone? Kristen, you got to speak loud. If you're a soft talker on Facebook, we need to hear you.
Okay. So I actually, I have a patient that is coming to the end of therapy. There's not much more to do for her. And she's a young adult, so she was struggling with, like, this is so sad, I can't have children, I will never be a mom, I will never be, and this was right after class.
Of course.
So it was really, that was last week. She went and we were texting, and I sort of texted very lightly because I thought it would be better to have it with her, but just, this is not, you will be a mother one day, and this is not the end. You are immortal, and it was very light, and so when I saw her today, going through and talking, and it's like, I can't believe, and then just talking and having this conversation, just letting it just flow from wherever it was coming from, but just that this isn't it. This is just such minute, minuscule, I think is what I said, just in this eternity that you have, and you will be a mom one day, you will, just in this moment of this lifetime, and it sort of resonated with her, but it was meant to be for,
Amazing.
Yeah, so it really, and I think for me, in talking, and I know we've talked about this before, we're all on our journeys differently,
Mm-hmm.
but just to let it flow, and however she took it, was okay. It flowed, it came, and seemed to help her and understand, but also I know we've talked about this before, but it also helped knowing that she's, I hope this helps her where she is on her journey, but also having no judgment in where it is, but just that this stuff flows from all of us.
Yes.
That we just hope that it, resonates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bringing about a shift in consciousness, someone who's maybe unconscious of something or is beginning to be conscious of it. Remember, we're all in the process of being unconscious of something, becoming conscious of it, being conscious of it. So in the moment you're becoming conscious of something and becoming fully conscious of it, you're also completely unconscious of something else. So the reason I share that with you is that the timing is always perfect because it's the timing. When you try and when you're trapped in mortality, you'll try and find the right time. When you're embracing immortality, it's timing. It's the timing. It's not the time, it's the timing. Timing is an endless process of synchronicity that's inherent in the process of life. Time that you don't have control over. Time is something that we live in the illusion of when we're mortal that gives us a sense of control over something.
That's something that, from my own perspective, with my children, I have a 6-year-old and 8-year-old. And so the things that I feel like I know and that are natural instinct for me now, the way I live, trying to communicate that to children helps me see it the way that I need to see it, that it is so small, and what we're experiencing doesn't need to be made as big as our feelings lead us to make them.
Yeah, and when we teach something from a place of honesty, we always get taught what we teach. If we teach something from a place of ego, okay, we believe we have nothing to learn. And when we believe we have nothing to learn, then we learn nothing. But if we teach something always willing to learn that which we're teaching, then we get to be the student and the teacher of the message that's coming through. We get to be in both roles at the same time, which is exactly what happened with you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Love that. And we're all really voting that you were able to hear that on Facebook tonight. Because if not, then we're going to have to start having beautiful Carla disconnect and take the thing. And we'll have these really, really obnoxious close-ups.
We'll pull a Keith.
Yeah, it'll be a 45-minute selfie. Excuse me. Get a little something out.
Here comes the expiration.
Yeah, right. And the death that follows.
Yeah. More than enough of those to go around. Is there resistance to accepting my immortality? And if so, what am I afraid I'll lose if I let mortality die? So what's the downside to no longer being mortal? It's not a funny question. It can be taken that way. But what's the downside to no longer being mortal that would make you want to resist entering into immortality?
The loss of the relationships and the connections you have within this life.
Okay.
The loss of everything you think you want.
Right.
You have nothing.
The loss of everything you think you want. Because in the space of mortality, you can justify those wants, and you can justify the means to have them. In immortality, you know that everything you want, and I'm going to just grab this up right back. This is a great thing that was said to me, and I wrote it down.
Yeah, it is.
Do we need it to be?
If you're cold, go ahead and shut it.
So as I was really, we all good?
We're good.
As I was really being brought into a full consciousness of how to teach, begin teaching immortality, this was the first phrase that came to me. We want it, we have it. We lose it, we want it. That's the pattern of mortality. We want it, we have it. We lose it, we want it. Everything we want, we finally have at some point. We have it. The moment we have it, we know that we're going to lose it. We lose it, and then we want it again. What is it? It is irrelevant. It is anything. Okay, and this is, of course, the struggle with mortality, is that mortality is not congruent with impermanence. Immortality is congruent with impermanence. And impermanence is a principle of all things. So the fundamental place that you live from should do its best to be congruent with the fundamental principles that allow you to live impermanence, immortality. Just FYI. If they're not, you might want to change. Or not.
Everybody here knows I have trouble with the concept of control or not having control.
Yes.
And to me, mortality gives me the semblance of having control.
Mm-hmm.
Immortality, somebody else is in control.
That's right.
And that's my big thing. That's when my monkey brain starts.
Right on.
And it's funny because as you were saying that, right before you spoke, my first thought was, if we let go of mortality, there's no more room to run amok.
That's right.
Because we're now part of that order.
Yes. Yes. We've taken away a filter of justification. Okay? And then we have to truly rely on the nature of immortality, okay? And the true fabric of immortality to come to its conclusions about what is and isn't necessary in our experience. And that's again, this has always been what's happening. You're just taking away a filter of illusion that's been kind of buffering you from just letting it be. Great. What is something in my life that I can release right now that will bring me closer to living in immortality? Well, Kat, you know the answer to this for you. If I say, what is something in my life that I can release right now that will bring me closer to living in mortality?
My monkey mind.
Your monkey mind, which is based in the need to have what?
Control.
Control. Okay.
Easier said than done.
Of course. Yeah, just because it's simple doesn't mean it's simple to do. It's just simple to say, okay, that makes sense. Then the practice begins, right?
And begins and begins.
And did you have something, or you just moved your glasses around? Beautiful.
I agree with you.
I would bet you would. I know you both, I love you both, and I would bet you would. That's great. That's an honest comment. Appreciate it. I think that's it. That's it. Okay. Everyone just take a few breaths, process what we just talked about. Okay. I think we're starting to, even if we can't wrap our head around what it really means to live immortally on a regular basis, I think we're beginning to come to some understandings that it has a lot more benefits than it does downsides. One of the things you have to realize to live immortally at peace is you have to remember that you're living immortally in a moment. That to live immortally means you live one moment at a time. You are here one moment at a time. As Jan said last time, as she was confirming her understanding of the material, it really means you're forced to just be present. You have to be here now. Right.
It's to let go of every attachment that we have.
That's right. You have to let go of every attachment we have. So what we're going to find, Kat, as we go deeper into this, okay, is it is going to continue to boil down to a large degree to what you're struggling with.
More than it is now?
Which is the biggest reason that we don't want to let go of control and embrace immortality is because we do not have control. Okay? And unconsciousness, okay, by nature, reacts to things based on how they affect it. So when you talk about things like narcissism, okay, or people that murder people or that are very unconscious, any of the things they do, very unconscious, okay, they're self-based. So they look at the world and everything that happens in their reality, not just the world, but in their reality, as how does it affect me? How is this good for me? And how is this not good for me? As you step into and you begin practicing living immortality, you begin looking at how is this perfect? How is this just the way it's supposed to be? Because if you don't come to that place, if you resist that, which all you're doing is resisting it, you can't stop it. But if you resist coming to that place, you are in fact pushing yourself back into mortality. You are denying yourself bliss by examining the situation as it relates to you. You are seeking understanding and justification instead of experiencing bliss. The stories in the Bible and other ancient texts are, in my opinion, they're beneficial and by all means, for the most part, very symbolic. So when you talk about the whole apple thing, okay, to know, that tree of knowledge, okay, that was the human tree of knowledge. It was the tangible knowledge. We wanted to know. We were tempted to know, and when we decided we wanted to understand something more than just be, we separated ourselves into what many religious or spiritual teachings call duality. It was so important for us to understand what we were that we were willing to separate ourselves from what we were to know who we were. And in that space of just being what we were, we didn't know any better. All we knew was paradise. Now, did paradise mean there wasn't death? No. Loss? No. Disease, sickness, suffering? No. It means we knew those things as a part of the experience. We didn't object to the nature of life itself. Which, if you think about it, how an animal, okay, a base animal, reacts to death and loss, okay, is so much more civilized than how a human being reacts to it. So this path down mortality, which I truly believe is the path down mortality, is nothing more than the path to immortality. Because there's no escaping immortality. Okay? There's no escaping it. Eventually you end up there. Eventually it's the only thing that makes sense. So whether it's a circle, and we're back to where we started, okay, and we're saying no thanks, I don't like apples, okay, or whether it was all just a progression into the space, it's irrelevant to me. You're arriving at the same space. If I found a space because I walked around in a circle, or I found a space because I walked down a trail, it's irrelevant. I'm in the space. The space gives me peace. I've told you all from the beginning, the biggest thing that drives my teachings with all of you is the healings. I truly believe that healing is nothing more than a reestablishment of divine order without interference. It's a normalization. All it is. It's a normalization. I don't look at healing as so much of what gives me the right outcome. I look at healing as a natural, normal progression without excessive effort or thought. What is happening? And is it happening in a relatively unrestricted, easy way that's in a way that's best? Not best for the person, best for the process. When you all embrace immortality, it's very clear that you are a product of a process. That creation is a process. It's a chemical process. It's an energetic process. It's a process. You are the product of a process. If you are a product of a process, what is most important? The product or the process? The process. But what mortality does is mortality justifies that the product is more important than the process. That me staying alive, me getting what I want, me having it, that's more important than the process that gives birth to the product. That's when you can begin to hear that, that's where you can see how selfishness is just not a choice. How it has to be minimized. Because it is a direct hindrance to the process. The process that is not just creating you, the process that creates all of life. Now that process is strong enough and powerful enough to endure your selfishness, your anxiety, your fear, your resistance. But is that the point of it? Is the point to see how much the process can endure and still create? Or is it some point to enter into the space of immortality and say, I'm about the process? Because ultimately, it is the process that gives me my eternal life. It is the process that keeps creating me. It is the process that keeps giving me forms. It is the process that keeps giving me life. It is not the product. So immortality, I just use words. I can never use words to totally, I always say this every class. Now you guys are going to tell me, you don't need to keep saying it, but I feel the need to keep saying it. My words will always fall short of conveying what I'm trying to say. It's a small frustration I deal with it, I think. Why don't the words exist to actually explain what I'm trying to explain?
But maybe they're not supposed to exist.
I'm at peace with it. It's just one of those little rubbing points that, God, these are my rubbing points, please. I'm fine.
Accept the process, not the problem.
Accept the process, right? This is like, it forces you, immortality forces you to love the process. Because the complete impermanence of the product of the process, you have to face. That as an impermanent byproduct of the process, it makes more sense then to relinquish the mortal hold you have on preserving the product through mortality, and instead live immortally in the product that's being created by an immortal process. That allows the product that has not been created by the process, please hear me on this, you are a product that is being created by the process. It's not something you're getting out of the way of once happening. You're getting out of the way of something that's happening. So yes, you are an ongoing product of a process of creation. Knowing that, I think that's just an undeniable truth. I mean, for most who can grasp that life comes from something, we're beyond even a spiritual context here. We're just elementally talking. Why would you want to get in the way of the process that makes the product? It'd be like constantly saying, I love you all, but this is why it's hard for me not to laugh all the time when I'm with you guys. Because you let it go. Okay, let it go. No, keep letting it go. Okay.
I'm never coming back again.
Yeah, but eventually it takes, okay?
What?
Eventually it takes, and you don't hold it anymore.
Right.
You live in a way that lets it go.
Yeah.
And that's when monkey mind disappears.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't want him laughing at me.
Oh God, it's impossible. If I can't laugh at you, then I can't laugh at me, and I laugh at me all the time. So I have to laugh at everybody. That's what makes it like if you ask. So that's a great thing to bring up. It's a funny comment, but it's so true, and it inspired me to show you a different piece of this. What allows you to live immortally, okay, at first, really, is allowing this amazing thing called a sense of humor. Think about it. Force and source of all creation, I call it God. Whatever you call it's fine with me, but that's just what I call it. In the process of creation, it instills in us a sense of humor. Knowing at some point we're going to become conscious of things that we're either going to have a nervous breakdown over and fall apart, which I'm not saying that doesn't happen, because that's a part of it too. But at some point, we'll be able to laugh. At some point, we'll be able to just go, oh my God, I have no idea what's going on. This is a freak show. And I just want to laugh. This is crazy. Right?
Yeah.
That sense of humor is innately in us because creation knows we're going to be coming to some things that we're going to need it. And if you don't use it, you're just like, you're missing one of the most amazing healing tools you have in your toolbox.
That's a sixth sense.
Yeah.
A sense of humor.
Yeah, you have to laugh. You You have to be able to laugh. And you're not laughing at anyone. When I laugh with all of you, I'm laughing with you, because I'm either laughing because when I watch you, you're reminding me of who I was, and I find who I was funny. I find him to be funny and kind of confused and insecure, and I find there's humor in that behavior. I find it's a comedy. I don't take it seriously anymore. Why? Because if I take it seriously, then I'm back in this. We want it, we have it, we lose it, we want it. I take the process seriously, okay? I take the process seriously, I do. But I don't take the product seriously. Because the product is always a work in process. You are all a product that's a work in process, always. And all you're doing is trying to help contribute to your product becoming better by supporting the process. And the process, okay, is the practice. It's the practice of being aware of the process, embracing the process, allowing the process, being truthful and honest within the process, and then having a great sense of humor about how it all turns out. And knowing that no matter how it turns out, you're immortal. It's perfect. And it's going to change. It's going to change.
In the next minute.
Yeah, exactly, in the next minute. So if you think, okay, I'm really immortal, I'm really doing what Keith's asking me to do, I'm really in it, this is perfect, oh my God, this is just the way I want it. As soon as you say those words, you know that you've slipped back into mortality, and you're going to want it, you're going to have it, you're going to lose it, you're going to want
Can
it.
I give an example of
Oh, I
something
would love
happened
it. Go ahead.
today?
Please.
I have gone through, since September, the process of becoming an approved arbitrator with the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. And today was the final piece. I mean, you know, you get to that where you've gone through all of the background checks, all of everything that they do for 12 weeks. And then you go through, after that, you go through 2 courses, and you've got to pass the test within 2 tries that are timed. And you go, okay, now we can breathe. Except today was a 4.5-hour interactive workshop that they really don't tell you what you're going to be doing, okay? And I have a fear of technology. It's one of the things that, okay, and I try not to think about it, and I didn't think about it, but out of 14 people on that call, the recording came on and said, please mute your phone, which I did, which was the death of everything, because if you screw up and you're out of this call, you could be out of the whole approval process. And so I'm one of the first people on, everything's going fine, I'm muted the way the guy on the recording says to mute it, except that when she calls my name, we can't get me unmuted. And so, yes.
A voice thing again.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So the whole thing is we're going through this, and she goes, well, I know she's here, but we can't talk to her, and she can't talk to us. The talking thing.
Yes,
okay? Yes. And so I'm trying to mute, unmute. And then I finally gave it up, and she didn't come back to me. She went totally over me, and then you have the little hand that you can press to say, I have a question. And I wanted to say, can you hear me? And every time I tried, she didn't hear me, okay? And all of a sudden I tried it about 5 or 10 minutes later, let it go, and tried it. And it worked. And she said, oh, Jan is with us. And I'm going, okay. She said, so do you have a question now? I said, can we come back and introduce me? And she goes, okay, but that wasn't the end of it. About 5 minutes later into the phone call, I'm getting this phone call from somebody else that disconnects the call.
Wow.
And I'm going, so what do I do? Do I try to go back in from the very beginning on a WebEx seminar and really screw it up? And they're evaluating you on this. And I'm going, oh my God, of all the times for this to happen. And so then I called back in successfully, but then every time they came back to me, the recording was, this is Jan, I was disconnected from the call. For 4 hours. And I mean at the end, there was a redemption because in the interactive group practice where I was in there with 3 guys, basically they go, well, we think Jan should be the spokesperson. And I'm going, that's not funny, guys. They go, we think it is. Okay? But that's the whole thing. I was letting it go, but inherently, technology is not my strong point. And I didn't want anything to happen, but it sure as hell happened.
Right.
And that's when you basically look skyward and go, okay, God, stop it, all right? This is not funny. We need to get this done, okay? And, you know, but it was like I was totally powerless. No matter how much I had prepared for it
Yes.
and done everything the way it should be done, it wasn't working. And so you got through it, and when I came in, Mary Lou asked me how I was, and I said exasperated, okay? Because that just ended at 4:30 this afternoon.
It's a great story.
But the bottom line is, you don't have control. And when you know you don't have control, and you really want the control, you're fighting in that whole thing. But then it was everything I did afterwards, even though it was right, it came back as being, oh my God, that's that Jan person. Nobody will ever forget at FINRA. Oh yeah, we know her. She's the one who messed up the call. Okay? But that's not what they thought in the end.
No.
But it's a perfect example. We don't have the control.
No.
No matter how hard we try to do anything.
I think in the moment, though, like it's in those moments
Yes.
that you say, I'm letting this go. I
Mhm.
know that I have to let this go and that it's going the way it's got to be.
And laugh at it.
And I didn't hang up, okay, and say, screw this, I
Right.
can't do
No,
it.
you do best.
Okay, you just stay in there and let the process get back in control of
Let
itself.
Let
not
it be the
me.
way it is.
Right.
So the funny part is that you, it's a common path that we'll all fall into is that, is the one that Jan did, where she felt that her weakness, okay,
It's technology.
it was technology, and her weakness gave her a lack of control, okay? When in reality, the technology had nothing to do with her having a lack of control. The situation itself, you could have been the strongest in technology that you wanted, and you would have still gone through something. So we try and tell ourselves our weakness and our strengths are what give us control or don't give us control.
We have no control.
But it doesn't really matter either way. All we have control over is how we are with what is. That's it. That's all you have control over.
Isn't part of what you're saying is like if we're trying to control something, we have more issues.
Sure.
Than if saying instead to God, okay, not God, saying instead, thy will be done, and just really releasing that inside helps that.
Right, and one of the
things
thoughts-
kind of start falling into place.
One of the thoughts that occurred to me in this whole travesty of technology was maybe I wasn't supposed to do any of this for all these weeks. And I'd go, well, that would be a joke. But, you know, I didn't get upset. And I think the initial reaction would be, hang up, try to get in all over again so you can do it right. And I just wrote it out. And I
It's
took
kind of like
it.
the more you want something, the more it kind of pushes away.
That's it. That's the funny thing about it. We want it, we have it, we lose it, we want it. So when those are great stories, great examples, and as you, one of the first things I taught you when we talked about going into mortality, and one of the biggest benefits that it does is it's an amazing gift of perspective. And what Jan was able to take into this experience and through this experience was that no matter how it went, okay, it wasn't the end of the world. You know, it was okay. You know, it was okay. And it's that simple ability to hold on to that simple awareness of, it's okay. I'm struggling. It's okay. I'm frustrated. It's okay. To have that, to be able to be that other energy within yourself as you go through that. To accept that you're having a part of you that says, oh, this damn technology, and you have a bigger part of you going, yeah, it's okay. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, to help you calm yourself through it. Perspective is a wonderful gift. And being in a consciousness of immortality, there's nothing like the perspective that it gives you. It doesn't make anything insignificant. It just allows things to have a proper perspective. That way you're not negating the importance that someone else still feels about something, okay? You're compassionate to the importance that they give it based on their perspective. But at the same time, you're not joining them in that empathetic perspective. You're saying, I can see why that's so important to you. And that's how you can relate to people that are still very mortally bound by things. And that's how you were. You took that beautiful stance with her. You were very compassionate to how important it was for her to have kids in this life. You were right there with her. You could relate to that. You are a mother. You did have kids in this life. You could totally relate on a mortal level. But then on an immortal level, you were able to bring a bigger perspective. which gave her a doorway, should she be ready, to transition through that. And it sounds like, to some extent, she did. She was grateful for the knowing that, yeah, you know what? I can think about it in a way that gives me a better view of the truth. We are already into chamber time. So, first of all our love and prayers to Kathleen. Her procedure went really well, and she's doing really great. And Kathleen watches the show every week, and I'm sure she's watching it now. And we love you, Kathleen. And your daughter was so kind as I asked to call and let me know that everything went great. So Megan, thank you for calling, and Kathleen, we're just so happy that that's over with, and that everything is going great for you, and you're in a full recovery. So we continue to keep Kathleen in our prayers as she recovers and does well. She's just such a sweetheart, so we love her to death. Okay. So we have some people we want to put in the chamber, and then I heard we have somebody, one of our visitors that I saw through my little mirror that wants to be in the chamber. Is that true, Janice? Do you want to experience the chamber while you're here?
I will do it.
Awesome. That's what I love. Somebody's ready to step into love. That's awesome. Very happy. So we're going to put Janice in first, and then we're going to cover some people that Sonia wants us to scan through and bring in. And then if we have time at the end, I'd like to bring Denise in just to help her move along a little bit. I think she needs a little bit of an energy encouragement, right? So let's start with Janice. Everyone, let's. Everyone, we always remember that everyone in the chamber represents everybody in the world that needs help. And everybody in the world that needs help with any of these issues, that we're all one, so when we come together to help one feel better, we come together to help everybody feel better. So Janice, if there was anything at all that you would want to be moved or shifted or helped in any way, what words would you use to describe it? Whatever comes to your heart. Yeah, whatever comes to you.
There's a big transition where I'm sharing time with the father of my children, and it's going to be a division where have always been there, and now I have to be okay with it being separate.
Perfect.
And it's hard for me to know what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
For them.
Right, for them and for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how perfect is this that, she's just been giving herself to love and following her journey, and she comes in and we're in our immortality, and we're letting go of time and space and how it separates us, and how perfect for you to be able to be healed of that sensation of separation that's caused by time and space, right? Because it doesn't serve you anymore. So you're going through a transition where embracing your immortality is the best thing for everyone, right? Beautiful. So Janice is perfect for this, because she's stepping forward to help with the transition into the physical time and space of immortality. And so everyone in here, I'm sure, could use a little help with transition into that. So she's the perfect person to come forward, and just thank her for that. You're so welcome. So the first thing we have to do is we just have to let go of the normal process of grieving that you'd go through. Because there's a part of you that wants to grieve every time you say goodbye, and every time you leave, every time you're there, every time you're not. Because it's a saying goodbye. But it's repetitive in nature, and it's very stressful, and you don't need to do it anymore. It's I love you when you're there, it's I love you when you leave. That's it. There you go. So we're going to help you just move through everybody, not just Janice. We're going to help everybody move through the grief of what's left of their mortal lives. Of going back and forth between time and timelessness, time and timelessness. Being caught in time, not having enough, having to share, separate, and then moving into immortality when it doesn't matter. All of you need help with this. So we're going to clear it out of your heart and out of your lungs. Beautiful. Beautiful. And just keep breathing. It's doing amazing. And bringing your whole energy into a place of this is just what is. This is just how it is now. Now. This is how it is now. Beautiful, relax your right arm, you're doing great. It's not abandonment. None of us are abandoning anybody, you understand? We're embracing that no one goes anywhere. That we can be ever present. That what we are can transcend space. That our presence can be with those we love, even if our physical form cannot. And the presence is really what the process is all about, not the product. So I'm just opening up your heart now. Stay with it, honey. You're doing amazing. And I'm just giving your heart full permission to just feel love, because you have such an amazing heart to just feel love and joy, and you love to feel love and joy. So it's really best for all energies, yours and all around you, for you to be free to just feel that love and joy all the time. That's what's best for the world your children live in, when you're with them and when you're not. And you're definitely here to make the world a better place. There we go. It's a higher calling, Janice. We all have to let go of things as we move into a higher calling, the way we look at things, the time we spend with things. Beautiful. A little more of your heart. Everyone take some nice deep breaths. Everyone's a little hesitant on these movements. Let's take some breaths, okay? Beautiful. Everyone, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much, Janice. That was just awesome. That was just, you're so courageous. I love it. Great example. How perfect was that? And she's in from out of town, and she's willing to be here, and it was such a benefit to everybody through that. Okay, so we have some names, all right? Let's go through some names. I'm going to see.
You're going to be 36? Yeah, okay. Right after. I guess then you need to.
Are you good, Keith? Okay. So your stepfather's name is Jimmy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I do have something to say before you say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Today was the first day he did open his eyes and looked at me. So I just wanted to share that first.
Okay.
So that's huge. He had a CAT scan, so I went ahead and but that was, he looked at me. And
Beautiful.
that was huge.
Okay.
So I wanted to share that first. Okay.
So the first thing Jimmy just needs one thing from us tonight. Everybody, just put your hands right here on your back. Best as you can. We're going to put our hands right on our adrenals. Right on the part of us that deals with a lot of stress. I'm just going to say this to Jimmy. I'm just going to say, Jimmy, please don't be afraid to see the light here. You've already seen the light in another place. Let's just all set the intention that he's not too afraid to see the light here. And in seeing the light here, let it change his life here. And he can stop being afraid. We just want to release the stress from our own adrenals as we see the light, the truth, and the way to walk in oneness with the process of life. And of course, what we do for ourselves, we do for everyone, including Jimmy. Everyone who's recovering, everyone who's struggling. We know if they can just see the light and they can just walk with it and into it and let it illuminate them, that everything comes from that. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Good for you and good for Jimmy. And we have a couple. Oh. Okay, so this is another one that Sonia wants us to do with tonight. This is a great one. This is one that's a really good one to put out into the world. So I'm happy to do this. And this is for a soul named Heidi. And we're going to do a really loving intention on relapse. People that are doing really, really good. Okay, they're really on a great path, and then they have a relapse and they go back into something. And I'm going to use Sonia, and I want you all to just really send your love, like we always do as I do this, so that we really help people that are going through relapse. We we want that circle to be as small as possible and as quick as possible. We don't want them to get into any self-condemnation. We don't want them to get into any feeling bad. We want them to immediately just move that circle right back into moving forward again. The smallest amount that they can do that retracing, it just makes everything moving forward better, okay? And we know this, that as we move through things unconsciously, we go forward, we go back, but we still go forward. We go back, but we still go forward. As we get into the practice, our circles get smaller, we let go of our recurrent patterns, and then our circles go off and we become linear. And once we become linear, then we don't have to go through things repetitively anymore. We just keep stepping forward. Until then, our circles are just getting smaller. So what we want to do is we want to bring this beautiful person and every other person that's experiencing this, and we just want to move them into the smallest circle of repetition we can, so that their suffering and pain as they go through something again is just small and easy, and they keep looking at what's ahead of them, not what they've done. So this is for Heidi, but it's for everyone. Everyone who suffers a setback, a relapse, a disappointment. Everyone who suffers from holding on to something. Everyone who gets caught on something that drags them back into a cycle. Everyone who just can't quite let something go enough to where it doesn't happen anymore. And they wonder, why is it happening again? Why did it happen again? I thought it was over. And they can lose patience, and they can lose belief, and they can lose trust. And we just want to fill them with our love and our wisdom and saying, it's okay, it's a part of the process. You will overcome it. Overcoming it is inevitable. You will overcome it. So we want to release from them any doubt. And the doubt makes the circle backwards bigger. You will overcome it. It is your destiny to be done with it at some point. Just focus on letting it go. And then focus on letting go of the cycle that brought you back into it. And more important than that, focus on letting go of the power that the relapse is having over you. The value of the relapse is not to go deep into the relapse so you can completely incarcerate yourself over it. The value of the relapse is just to say, okay, I have some more to let go of. I'm going to go back in and let go of it. It's not how bad can I feel. If I feel really, really shitty, it won't happen to me again. That's bullshit. That entrenches you in a fear-based reaction to the relapse. When the relapse happens, you accept it. It was needed. It was appropriate. I'm done. I move out of it. I learned. I grew. I let go. I'm moving on. Get back to focusing on all the amazing, beautiful things in your life that are very obvious and conscious to you. Focus on all the reasons why you know you're going to be done with it someday. Your love, your order, the peace, the beauty in all things, the perfection within yourself that eventually will take full control and pull you out of those dysfunctional patterns. The higher power that you're giving your life to, not the lower power that's causing the relapse. All of people in this moment are feeling the draw towards our love, towards our wisdom, and towards our support, into their immortality. Are they going to be addicts forever? No. And if you're not going to be something forever, and if your time is right, you can say, I'm done now. If it isn't going to last forever, I'm not interested in it in that way. I don't want to practice things that don't last forever. Peace, love, acceptance, compassion, I can practice those forever. Addiction, you can't practice it forever. It's a wonderful way of learning something, but it's not eternal. You can just begin to let it no longer have purpose or meaning in your life. Not the relapse, addiction. Beautiful, everybody. That was amazing and awesome in every way. We're done. Everyone's wiped out. I can feel that we're done. I love you, everyone. If it wasn't for you, there'd be no me. Thank you for being a part of the process. Thank you for sharing your life with me. I love sharing mine with you. Be blessed. I love you. We'll see you next week.